What's up, everybody? It's your girl Q1, and I am back with Married to Medicine Season 12, Episode 15, Reunion Part 1. Y'all, before I start, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Click the notification bell button so you can be updated on every video that I drop. Make sure y'all like the videos so I can stay in the algorithm. So y'all know how everything go. All of the ladies arrive. Andy goes to talk to each lady in the room. So Simone, you know, we are so used to Simone and Jackie for the past couple years sharing the same dressing room, but they're not this year. So Simone felt like Jackie should have checked Heavenly. And I'm going to share my thoughts on all of that later once we get down to their segment. Jackie, we get the flashback with Jackie on Watch What Happens Live saying she saw the footage and they both could have interpreted things better. Simone said she don't need those type of friends. And I'm just kind of summing up the beginning of it. So Andy goes and talk with Jackie. And he speak with Jackie about them not sharing a dressing room anymore. She said that she doesn't like all of this, but she doesn't like Simone to feel like she's hurt. Andy tells Jackie he thinks it's what she did not say. And I'm going to make a hard assumption and say Simone wanted Jackie to say Heavenly was full out wrong. So Andy is back in Simone's office, and Simone is telling him he saved her from a divorce once, which y'all know Andy was the mediator between Simone and Jackie the last time they got into it. And so she said she don't think she can help again. And I'm sorry, she said she doesn't think he can help again. And Simone thinks that they don't have a friendship at this point. So Simone is done. But again, I feel like some friendships come to their end. And at this point they can kind of separate. I think a lot has happened between Simone and Jackie after Heavenly came into the friendship. And it was a lot. Like, I know them getting into it with Buffy, and Simone took up for Buffy. It seems to me that both ladies like to hold grudges. And then even when Simone planned that trip to Hilton Head, I think that was another thing that caused a rift in their relationship. And then when Heavenly does things wrong, Jackie never checks her, but Jackie is often checking Simone. So in a way, I kind of do see Simone's side, but we're gonna break that down because I don't know. It made sense in my head as I was watching the reviews. Okay, so we start. All of the ladies come out to the stage. We do the pleasantries, and then we start with Simone and the whole Jackie situation. So Andy says to the ladies that he's so used to both Simone and Jackie sharing the same dressing room, and he was like, "What's up?" Simone said that she needed Jackie, and Jackie failed to deliver. Andy think that they could get to a better place. I mean, although they could, it seems as though there are a lot of things that have been unsaid, in my opinion, between the both of them that they just won't say to each other. I don't know if these people have off-camera conversations. It seems as though they don't. And somehow things happen on camera. And that's when everything just kind of spew out. I just never thought. I thought once their friendship was fractured, I'm not going to lie, I thought everything they did moving forward was very disingenuous. And I feel like they was just going along to get along. So, but that's just my opinion, and I could be wrong. So we start with Toya. So we get Toya's montage. Andy asked Toya if she's still in the house, and she was like, yes. Basically asking, did you move again? And I was like, that was pretty shady. But even though she still have all of these moves, I still feel like, that was a little shady, but whatever. So Heavenly Shady ass said, she think Toya will move out into a condo on her own. And so you have Quad that kind of fixed everything up and I'm just like, why do you feel like you have to feed her lines? Heavenly meant exactly what she was saying. And this is why there is always conflict amongst Heavenly and some woman on this show, just like Toya, because they always into conflict, but there's never conflict resolution when it comes to people who beef with them or when those two beef with one another. And I think this is why I love the fact that Mimi is in, because she's the connoisseur of conflict resolution. Okay, and I think that irritates their spirit. Well, Toya. But anyway, that's just a thought that I had. So there was a comment from Paula in Clearwater, Florida. Clearwater is where all the alligators are, okay? Y'all stay away from Clearwater. Anyway, she says, Toya says the women love watching her and Eugene argue while misrepresenting their own relationship. Toya says she thinks it's easy for certain ladies to deflect. She also said that there has not been any cheatation going on, and her husband hasn't been telling her that he don't trust her with their sons. And I'm assuming that whole trusting them with sons that went over to Heavenly, and a cheatation of it all. I don't know if that was. I know that was aimed for Jackie. But it seems to me, I don't know if it was also aimed for Quad. I mean, yeah, Quad, because y'all remember Mighty Mouse did what he did with his stupid ass. Anyway, sorry. Toya wants the ladies to stay out of her relationship. And I get what Toya is saying. I do. Because I'm not going to lie, Eugene catch a lot of strays. But Toya, you set the tone for these bitches to be up in your relationship. Let's be all the way clear. When you don't respect your husband, these bitches ain't gonna respect your husband. And that is just as simple as that. Okay? I'm just saying, you may love Eugene, but it seems as though and again, we can't be no madder than what Eugene is, and Eugene seems to love the way Toya treats him. So it is what it is. So now at this point, Toya and Heavenly are arguing. Heavenly tells Toya, if you wouldn't put it out there, then we wouldn't have anything to say. But here's the thing, Heavenly. If that's supposed to be your friend, you shouldn't have anything to say but just kind of support her and kind of be on her side. But we also know that this is a reality show, and bitches ain't your friends on reality show, and that's just true tea. So anyway, Toya has put it out. I'm sorry, I did write this note. Toya has put out more of her relationship than Heavenly has always been willing to. Heavenly has always sealed her relationship with my relationship is perfect, yada yada yada. So there's that. So as Heavenly and Toya are going back and forward, Mimi decides to jump in, and I'm like, Mimi, this ain't for you, ma'am. You might was you and them Party City stripes on your dress, girl. Sit back and be quiet. Heavenly don't need you to fight for her, cause guess what's gonna happen next season? If she come back, y'all two might be fighting, and she may dog you out. So if I were you, I would tread lightly. But then again, you know, Toya can do the same thing, but she has done that this season. And I will say this: Toya is not a girl's girl. Toya is not supportive. She'll come off supportive in the first season, but then after that it comes off extremely abusive, if you ask me. But that's just my opinion. I already told y'all, Toya is a dickhead to me, point blank in the period. However, I will take up for her when she's right, just like all the rest of the ladies. So here we go. Toya said her neighbor, she tells Heavenly that her neighbor told her that Heavenly's husband, told her some things about Damon. Heavenly said, well, somebody told me why Eugene was fired from the hospital and all of the things. And I'm just like, when did we start, like, at some point in these seasons, when did we start talking about husbands? I I don't know. It just seemed like things has gotten grimy over the years. So Quad tells the ladies to stay out of everybody's relationship and extend all of that to everybody in the group. So then Jackie tells Toya that she has spoken on marriages, and she said, you spoke on mine. Jackie, what Toya did say about Big Nasty was the truth. Your husband has a problem with hands. Your husband is a cheater. Your husband had the lady, shout out to Miss Sandra P. Genextra, the big booty lady, okay, down to the airports and to Hilton Head. Like, I don't understand. And I just feel like Big Nasty will never beat those allegations. I don't know what your nigga doing in DR, but based on his past and based on him always touching women, we feel like a bunch of us feel like your nigga is still cheating on you. But again, that is just such an unpopular opinion, but that I'm gonna stand on that hill, okay? Allegedly, I'm gonna stand on that alleged hill. So Toya somehow age-shamed Jackie. I'm not really for certain how we got there. That felt kind of choppy. And she tells Jackie no one is talking about Curtis, like she could be talking about Curtis. And Jackie was like, and nobody's talking, like, I could say some things about your husband. Like what? We can name all kind of stuff about all these husbands that's been on Married to Medicine except for Eugene. Now, I will say this. Eugene is messy, and he does get down, and he does take up for his wife, right, wrong, and indifferent. But that's the same thing Damon do, except Damon not messy, but he will take up for Heavenly, right, wrong, and indifferent. And I think they both be on bullshit, which is why they kind of bump heads this season, Damon and Eugene. So, in my opinion, the start of this season was Simone and Toya. They are a pack. That's how they came. They came as a package deal. It seemed like Mimi and Heavenly also came as some sort of package deal. But yeah, but definitely over here, Toya and Simone was definitely a package deal. I'm just saying. So Toya says her reaction to Eugene at the party was poor, and it was. She said she was spiraling, and she didn't want that to happen in front of people who don't love her family. But Toya, you can say all of these things. You told your nigga to shut up and go eat a biscuit in front of everybody at that couple's trip. You have said a lot of stuff to Eugene, and you don't give a damn who you said in front of. So for you to sit here and be like, you didn't want to say it in front of people who don't love your family, girl, get the fuck out of here. Because that pissed me off. You doing too much. So anyway, I promise y'all I was not going to curse in these reviews, but some people has thoroughly pissed me off. So Toya said for people to keep attacking her and her relationship, she wanted to say, sorry, hold on, y'all. Sorry about that. So Toya said for people to keep attacking her relationship, she actually wanted them to say to her with love, Toya, you went too far. Toya. Because I feel like revisionist, what do they call it? Revisionist historian. Okay? That's what we're feeling. You were on 10. And it seems as though, and let me say this, and maybe in Toya's defense, when there's some planning going on, when she has to spearhead some things, I think it sometimes becomes overwhelming. And so her attitude her attitude actually surfaced. And I will give her grace in that, because she probably gets stressed out. And I think that's what happened. Coupled with the fact that Eugene haven't really been home. And we've already seen prior that how her behavior, how her behavior is when Eugene isn't home all the time. How and ever. My problem with this entire statement is you came onto this season like an asshole. You came on like a tyrant. Okay? You started with all of these ladies. Well, you started with Heavenly, and that's what you was doing things like that. So as correction came from Mimi, I think a part of you felt the way. But so for you to say you wanted these ladies to come to your aid when you been talking to your husband crazy for years, and they have been saying the same thing to you for years, and you have ignored everything they said, or you became combative when they said things to you as it relates to the way you may speak to Eugene or you handle Eugene, it's bullshit to me. So, you talk to Eugene like a child. But hey, if Eugene like it, we don't have no choice but to love it. It is what it is, girl. We don't care like that. So, another thing, when you were out there, when everything went down, and they were like, Toya, you shouldn't do that, blah, 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 or whatever the things they said, you then say, you said that they were talking shit about your marriage. You were on a real defense. You called those ladies bitches. And then as they're defending themselves, you threw them out. You told them to leave. You even accused Brandy, and Brandy did nothing. And you said you went and locked yourself in your closet. So if you're talking to me crazy and you calling me out of my name because I'm telling you that, hey, that's not okay, you're defensive. You're on a defense. So you coming at me because you handling your husband, and I'm just telling you as a friend, like, don't do that. I don't know what you want me to do. So I felt like that was the breakdown with Mimi and Toya. This was where Mimi checked out when it came to Toya. And that's another thing. When Heavenly said something, I sometimes don't get if Heavenly's coming from a good place or not. But the fact that you and Heavenly had been in turmoil from the beginning of the season to that party, yeah. So you felt like these ladies was coming at you in a way that wasn't helpful to your relationship. But you got to place that on your doorstep. You set the tone. You set the tone the way the way you talk to your husband, and you set the tone for this season as it relates to the people that you're fighting with. So there is that. So Contessa said, well, I think we could have been we should have, as friends, we should have been better, because when everything happened, we should have said, okay, everybody, party's over. Contessa, shut the hell up. Okay, just shut up. Because you're saying what you feel like is feasible in the moment while you're sitting on that stage. Girl, get the fuck. Because even when you were, and we gonna get to this you and Brandy situation too. So, yeah. Anyway, Toya, I did say Toya took a lot on. And when Toya takes on a lot, of course, I told y'all, let's be all the way clear, she turns into this dickhead. She's already a dickhead on a regular basis. Okay? She just turned into a bigger one. Anyway, so Mimi is, talking to Toya, trying to explain her side and where she was coming from. Because I do feel like Mimi was coming from a good place. I think Toya was extremely defensive. And of course, Toya is talking over her. Y'all know she's doing that Nene Leakes thing. When you got somebody by the balls, guess what they gonna do? They gonna talk over you. Because they don't want to hear what you have to say. Because 9 times out of 10, what that person have to say is automatic. It's probably right. And you are wrong. But Toya never takes accountability for her shit anyway. So there is that. But we talk about Eugene's pee size. And Heavenly, I feel like y'all were talking about purses, and you could have said anything about Toya, but you had to bring up Eugene. And the problem I have with that is when anybody starts to talk about Damon, you want to get mad, and you're mad and you want to go below the belt. If you don't want nobody saying nothing about your husband, stop talking about other people's husbands. If y'all don't want nobody speaking on y'all children, stop speaking on other people's stuff. It's okay to go at Toya, hit Toya below the belt, say something about her. But when someone says something to you, you take it all the way to hell. And that is what you did with Simone, but we'll get there as well. But here is the tee-hee-hee. You started, Toya. I don't care what nobody say. And shout out to Funky Dineva, because you cannot do something to somebody and tell them how mad to get. You started with the person who is the biggest gutter snipe on this cast. So you got what you got. And then you second in line. You and Simone running neck and neck for gutter snipe. So you get what you get. Y'all, here's the thing. I'm not taking nobody's side. I am, but I have no favorites in this. Everybody getting their ass smashed in this review. So, all right. I just wanted to clear that up. So Jackie gave Toya the Met Gala to teach her a lesson, and I feel like that was fucked up. You could have had a conversation with Toya, but the way the Met Gala was ran, Jackie, and it may have came out beautifully. Fine, whatever y'all say. The decor, I'ma stand on that. The decor was nice. Yeah, the decor was nice. Okay, but the way everything happened, the way Toya was acting, and Jackie, I blame you. You let her take over this control. You have this thing where you don't want to say anything. You don't like to say anything. You let the people, the mouthy people, speak on your behalf, which is why you're friends with people like Simone, which is why you're friends with people like Heavenly. They say things that you want to say. They speak up for you and speak on your behalf. That's all I'm saying. And you could, because you want to come up as this prim and proper doctor, but you are not. Let's be clear. Anyway, I feel like this, y'all, I really feel like this review is all over the place. Anyway, so Toya said she went through a lot, and with the whole Met Gala situation, but bitch, you did a lot. You excluded people. You excluded the new girls. You wanted them to pay their money, even though you excluded them. And you wanted the cast to pay their money. What did she do? She wanted them to pay their money. You ran this all by yourself. So you, as I stated in the last review, so you could get the glory. It stopped being about the Met Gala, and you started making it about Toya. And so you started moving how Toya moves. You became selfish. You became entitled in this whole. You became selfish and entitled in this whole situation. So yeah, you were selfish and entitled in this entire situation, and I feel like the Met Gala could have ran a lot better if you would have included all of the ladies, and everybody could have done their part, and you would have known who was strong in other areas. I'm just saying. So we get to Quad's package. Y'all know her and Kirk broke up. She said, she thought Kirk was the one, and she said that the breakup was mutual. She did not talk bad about him. She didn't speak ill will or poor. So for him to take his big head ass on social media talking about, yeah, I left that relationship, and then you thought you was gonna come on this show, boy, you. Okay, we don't care. We don't want to see you. But somehow you're still trying to make your rounds with the people that's in her life. So Andy asks, have anyone been in touch with Kirk? And of course Toya has, which is why y'all have a strained relationship. There is a picture right now on social media, I guess at a game. I don't know, it was at a game or a party. I don't know, I didn't check the background. It was Simone, Toya, and they had a picture with Kirk. And I was like, that's fucked up. Because just last season and the season before that, y'all kicked this lady off the island. Y'all brought in her ex-wife, both of you bitches, because them two is fucking grimy. And I don't like Simone. I don't like Toya. Y'all are grimy. And I can tolerate Quad. But what y'all did, y'all brought these people on, and then when y'all ain't have no use for them, even Heavenly, y'all kicked them in the ass. I can't say this. Heavenly did drop Homegirl and went right back to Quad and kept being her friend. Not y'all. Then you do it a second time. Y'all did it with Greg. And now y'all doing it with King. So when the new season come, if Simone come back, don't be talking to what's his name, your husband Cecil, talking about Quad don't talk to nobody. I haven't heard from her. For what? Why do you want to hear from Quad? You are not to be trusted. You two are not, for me, are not safe women to be around. Y'all are male identified raggedy ass hoes. I'm just saying. Like, I'm not okay. I can't tell people who to be friends with after I break up with them. But if we're in a space where we're trying to repair a relationship, why would you go to the raggedy ass nigga I used to deal with, and y'all know he wasn't shit, and then gonna say, oh, Eugene is still his friend, and that's why your friend, and that's why everybody approach Eugene the way that they damn do, because that's bullshit. Now Greg is a different story. Greg has been around for years. This is different. Y'all just met him. Y'all met him through her. Anyway, Contessa says to Quad, you didn't want Kirk to come on here. And Quad was like, I did not say that. And I'm pretty sure if she didn't want to, she had that right. Like, I'm trying to be here. I'm trying to heal. I don't want him in my face and turning this narrative into something else. Quad cleaned it up. She kept it cute and she kept it going. She said what she needed to say, and that was it. So, yes, again, like I said, we know Eugene and Toya still have a relationship with Kirk. Toya said King wanted to be here. And again, you confirming that says a whole lot, and why Quad shouldn't even be messing with you. You and Simone are some grimy ass bitches. Anyway, Quad said she never needed somebody ask about her having using this as some sort of storyline, and all of the things. So she said, I never needed a storyline, and doing treatments, IVF and all of that, I wouldn't do any of these things and as a storyline, because it costs too much money to head to Ghana. It costs too much money to do IVF, so those things are extremely costly, right? And so if Quad comes back and y'all decide to come back, I really don't want to hear nobody say, y'all, especially y'all two, say, hey, she's never talking to us, she doesn't want to be our friend. yada yada yada, etc., etc. So Simone want to know why didn't they move forward with that? Why they didn't do everything else, but they decided to move forward with the IVF process. And so Quad was like, listen, he's a good dad. He's a present dad. So I knew if I had a kid for him, and she didn't say it like this. This is not verbatim. If me and him shared a kid, he will be present for our child. He is a great father. So Contessa was telling Quad, hey, Kirk, at some point, you guys were great, but then at some point, Kirk started to seem uninterested. And as we go to break, there was the camera panned on Jackie. And I tell y'all, Jackie looked so super sad. I just wanted to say that. And I know everybody don't like Jackie. And that's fine. But she did look sad. And I think this friendship with these ladies has been more, of a, not a burden, y'all. I just want to use the right word. It's been heavy on her, but Jackie, as a grown-ass woman, you have to know how to deal with some things. You have to know how to let your friends know when they're wrong. When you have to do that. You can't be. You can either be get the fuck out of my face. I don't want to hear nothing from the both of y'all. This y'all shit. Don't put me in it. But you can't be soft with one and have more of an expectation for another. And I feel like when it comes to Simone, you're always wanting her to kind of acquiesce to Heavenly in one way or another. That's all. So anyway, Angel and Brandy, we get there. They come out. We get their montage. Brandy said that her season was a roller coaster. Somebody asked Angel, how is she a nurse in acting? Angel has been acting. She's been a model. She's been in music videos and all of the things since college. And she has multiple degrees. I love Angel. And y'all, if you are in the healthcare field, y'all go get her scrubs. Okay, I think they cost a lot of money, but they're probably worth it. So then we get to Brandy and Contessa. And Brandy should have cussed the fuck out of Contessa, because you a hater. And that's just all I gotta say. So so Contessa said the comment that was made between Brandy and Heavenly, it triggered her. Who told you that conversation? Because the only people that were right there were Brandy, Heavenly, and Simone. But I will say this. Heavenly told Brandy, about the party. And she was like, your husband threw you this a party, but Scott didn't throw Contessa a party. So you was mad at Brandy, but you never got mad at Heavenly. In fact, you dapped her off. So yes, Contessa, you are a hater. You took all of that energy and what Scott didn't do for you, and you tried to place that on Brandy's doorstep like it's her fault. Your nigga ain't shit. Then you denied complaining about Scott, and you did. It is on camera. Girl, like, Contessa ugly ass don't never have to come back no more either. Y'all, she not ugly. She just aggravate my soul. So Quad asked Toya, why did she ask Bernard, was Angel good in bed? And I was like, cause she's a tacky asshole. Okay. Anyway, we get to Mimi's segment. Mimi says she feels like she's always in her psychoanalyzing mode, and she don't mean to be like that, and she's not trying to be judgy. So Toya tells Mimi, you said you don't like conflict, but you told Brandy to be careful who she aligns with. And to Mimi's point, she did say that. Should she have said that? No. But Toya, that was based on all the negative behavior that we've seen from you. And I'm assuming prior to the conversations, her, Angel, and Brandy had when they all went to Mimi's house. I guess she thought, hey, me and Mimi, we are cool, so I can say X, Y, and Z. But I think it was Mimi's delivery that threw Brandy off. And Mimi, you can't go around telling people who they should and who they shouldn't hang with. So there's that. Anyway, Toya, I do feel like Toya never gave Mimi a chance. And I think, again, what sealed the deal was when you threw that lady out your house for whatever reason. I don't know. So Mimi was very emotional. She talked about being a parent of a special needs child. We didn't get much on Mimi, but she did say, they talked about how she was the special needs child parent, and she did shout out all of the parents of the special needs kids. So yes. So the men arrive. Big Nasty said to Steve that he's a little antsy. He noticed Steve just moving around, and Steve was on one. Let's be all the way clear. You was on one and you was ready for Eugene. So Damon said he don't want to see them argue. Okay, Damon. So Cecil said basically communication amongst the men needs to be better. Eugene asked, listen, you said you wasn't coming. You said you wasn't coming to the Met Gala. So why did you show up? Eugene, you've been on this show long enough to know that this was a cast event, and you knew Steve and Mimi had to be there. So for you and your wife not to tell that they had to pay at the door was bullshit, and I feel like y'all was being petty, and I could be wrong. And I'ma own that if I'm wrong, but at the same time, you gonna back your wife up if you don't do nothing else. So anyway, Steve and Eugene, they both were on my nerves because they both back there acting like bitch ass niggas. Okay? And that's just what it is. So Big Nasty had the audacity to say to Steve, that dude won't admit nothing. Big Nasty, I need you to sit there and be quiet. Why? Because the only reason you have smoke for Eugene is because you mad at Toya for saying what she said on Watch What Happens Live. So it's okay for people to say that you're handsy, but it's not okay for Toya to say that you're handsy, which you are, and you have displayed that with the women in the group. But it was okay for you to tell Quad and Kirk that the reason why they didn't have a baby because they wasn't married. They not married. Curtis, get out of our face. So the ladies played yay or nay. I didn't get all of that because I just didn't. Anyway, Heavenly said her son had a mental health emergency. Is it me, or did it seem like Heavenly talking about her son was real performative? But I digress. So anyway, Heavenly said her and Damon don't talk about everything. But you make it seem like you and Damon are always on the up and up. See, that's what we be talking about. You be putting on. Even though we know that your shit is a whole shit show of a sham. Anyway, Toya said, we have enough liars on the stage. We have enough liars in Congress. We don't need no more. Toya, you are a hater. If she feels that her strongest suit is running for office, that don't have nothing to do with you. Don't vote for her. And that's just the end of that. So let's just get down to this Simone, Heavenly, Jackie situation. Jackie was like, she's stuck in between the ladies. Jackie, you are not stuck in between them. You have a problem with correcting. You have a extreme problem with correcting Heavenly when she dead ass wrong. But you're so used to Simone, and you being able to calm Simone down, as she would say, you felt like it's easier to calm Simone down than to tell Heavenly, bitch, you was wrong. So anyway, that's why humping the fence for you is the problem. That's the problem. Jackie says she was trying to be a good friend of both parties. No, you're not. No, you're not. And let's start from all the way from the beginning. Simone, you never liked the friendship between Heavenly and Jackie. And let's keep that shit all the way above. So when Buffy came on, you took up for Buffy. You hold on to shit, and when you ready to, hit that draw for Uno, that's what you gonna do. And I'm assuming Jackie was still mad at you about that. Not only did y'all do that, you set up a whole trip to Hilton Head. Whether production told you or not, you have a lot of pull on that show to say no. You have a lot of pull on that show. You never liked Heavenly. You and Jackie came on, and y'all never really liked Heavenly like that. So when she became more Jackie's friend, you felt the way. And that's where everything stems from. That's what everything to me stemmed from. So anyway, prior to the removing of the arm situation, I just want to point out that Simone and Toya went to Heavenly picking about the whole, confronting her about running for office and that she needs to do X, Y, and Z. And Heavenly was like, not right now. This ain't the time or the place. And she walked off. She was getting ready to leave. But somehow she stayed. So y'all know to keep a pin. Look, you don't have to keep a pin in there, but that's where it started. And all of this was at Angel's event. So the whole situation with Heavenly touching Simone. You put your arm around Simone. Simone said, I don't deal with fake ass bitches. Again, could it be you said that, Simone, because you and Heavenly and Toya had y'all little riff prior to all of this? Because before this, y'all were okay. She was just telling you about Cecil, and you was telling her about Cecil, and she was telling you about her son. So when she put her arms around you, and I could be jumping through time loops, but when she put her arms around you, you did say, I don't want to be around no fake ass bitches and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. But you grabbed her arm and you moved her arm. But by no way you shoved, pushed, you didn't do anything. All you said was, something about the fake bitches. And I wasn't mad at her about that. Don't touch me. But how did we get here? Y'all were in a decent place. So how did we get here? And again, we had the whole campaign situation. It was how you and Toya was showing up. And then we are here at Angel's event. So did I miss something? Anyway, Jackie tells Simone that they've been through a lot. They've been friends for 30 years. Jackie says she want to fix it. Jackie, at some point, I do feel like there's a part of me that feels like you really don't want to fix it, just like Simone don't want to fix it. But the only reason y'all trying to fix it is because of the longevity that y'all have. So yeah, and no. Anyway, Simone says to Jackie that she's the person that can get her, that Jackie can get her back down to earth when she's upset. And this is another question that I have. Why is it that Jackie is the only person that can get you down to earth when you're upset? At your big ass age, you should be able to regulate your emotions. But because you really don't like Heavenly, and because Heavenly probably really don't like you, anything y'all say to each other, everybody's going to explode. She said she kept going, and then Simone kept talking about how everybody was popping off, how Quad was popping off, but we're not talking about Quad. We're specifically talking about you and Heavenly. And that's another thing Simone has done all season. When Jackie talked to her, and specifically to her, about her, she kept bringing in other people. This ain't about other people. This is about you and how you react. Like, Simone, really? So, Simone said she piped up because she knew exactly what she was doing. Oh, okay, so you wanted to be clocked in. But you were mad because Jackie came to you in Florida and said you snapped. At the end of the day, the day gonna end. But no, at the end of the day, you never liked their friendship. And I do feel like it's all about choosing. And the fact that she can tell both of y'all she wrong, but you never wanted her to be friends with Heavenly. And I don't know if you flabbergasted because that shit been going on for so long or what. But, Jackie goes sit by Simone, start to cry and apologize. And I was just like, Jackie, that shit. Again, y'all only doing this for longevity's sake. That's it. Like, I just don't think y'all are fitted to be friends. But that's what y'all do. Y'all stick with niggas who y'all know y'all ain't supposed to be with. So y'all gonna stay in friendships that no longer serve y'all. Because that's the type of shit you old bitches do. Anyway, at this point, Simone claims she doesn't want to move forward. Girl, bye. I'm done. I can't wait till this next episode come. Yeah. Y'all can get out of my face and go to hell. Won't be no Beauty in Black tonight, y'all. This took a lot out of me. I promise I'll bring it to y'all. I'm going to try to bring Beauty in Black this week. So, that's all I got, y'all. This your girl, Kiwan, asking you to keep showing up, keep growing, stay true to yourself. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.